Hi, I'm Danya,
And I'm Shaheen.
and you're listening to
RealityWooWoo.
It's Not Something to Believe in.
It's something to talk about.
And on today's episode, you may have noticed that we haven't put out a podcast in, I don't know, 9 months? Something like that.
Like a year
March.
to 3 years.
March was a lot has happened. It feels like 3 years. And you may be listening to RealityWooWoo. See, we gotta change that. You may be watching this.
You may be looking at us. I kind of forgot that I was already on camera now.
You may be watching us. Yeah. We're trying some new stuff in 2023. A lot has happened, and we're
much.
Yeah,
I'm wearing an earring. Everything's different.
Everything is different. So yeah, we took a little hiatus, both, going through it, living some life, and now we're refreshed, right?
Lived.
Wouldn't you say?
I'm so rejuvenated, like a friggin' Aveeno commercial or some lotion.
Exactly. It's like Jennifer Aniston in a Smart Water commercial. That's what this feels like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
Island
the pure life happening.
Mm-hmm.
So what did we? Yeah. So what's our big moment coming back? We want to talk about 2023. We want to give you a heads up on what the stars have in store for us this year.
What's aligning?
Yeah. What can you call into your life? How can you work with what the sky is doing to kind of move your life in the direction that you want it to? Or maybe not. Maybe you just kind of want to tread water for a year. It kind of just depends on the vibe that you're in. But we'll give you some tips. We'll give you some pointers. We'll tell you what's happening with at least the inner planets. That's what we've decided for today. There's so much, right?
The basics.
We fight about how many planets there are. So we're just gonna walk you through Mercury through Jupiter, the big ones. So let's see. Let's start with Mercury. Let's get into it. So
she ready?
I mean, you guys are all familiar too. We all know what Mercury retrograde is, right? So that's what we're going to essentially
we all know
prepare
how
you
to
for.
complain about it. That's for sure.
None
of us maybe know what it means.
Yeah. So, you know when to blame Mercury retrograde. So we're going to give you those dates actually, because we ended 2022 moving into a Mercury retrograde essentially. So the Mercury went into retrograde on December 29th, right at the tail end of 22. We're recording this in 22, so I'm talking about the future as though it were the past.
I'm catching up to the future.
You
now,
get it. Yeah, it's confusing.
It's December while we record, but for you in the future.
For you, this is now the future. We have transport. We sound like Aquariuses.
Yes, we are beyond Earth.
So yeah, we ended 2022 moving into a retrograde. One thing to note about the retrogrades this year, at least for Mercury, they're all in Earth signs. How do we feel about that? Not good.
Well,
I gotta tell you, not great.
Yeah, Earth signs are in this call, 2 of them. And I mean, I felt it on the Earth too. Lots of things all over the Earth. It's not just happening in one country.
Yeah. It's gonna be, let's recap the basics for everyone. We know you don't sign contracts during Mercury retrograde. You don't kind of start any new endeavors. You are going to fuck up communication. You're going to send an email using the wrong there, or there. You're going to have tech issues. Maybe your phone breaks or shit is off, but it's usually has to do with technology, communication, those kinds of things, which in our world is a lot of shit. It's most things are.
I know. I wonder what Mercury retrograde, if it was like less previously effective. Yeah, in the Renaissance times. I'm sure their pencils broke more often.
Or even in the fucking 90s, man, right? It was maybe different for folks when we didn't wholly rely on technology as our main form of communication. But
they were still judging the internet like, oh, the internet, the .com boom. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Like what wasn't working? Your like Dave Matthews fan page, like what could have possibly broken in 1995? But yeah, here we are. And as time moves on, Mercury retrogrades affect more of us. So all that to say that the first Mercury retrograde, we're currently in it. We'll be releasing this episode during that time. So they last about 3 weeks, December 29th through January 18th. And this is within the sign of Capricorn. Mercury is close to planet Earth. So wherever the Earth is, whatever season we're in Capricorn season, that's where the Mercury retrograde will occur.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know.
That makes sense.
I kind of just figured it out when I was researching this.
Well,
is
that why you got into houses? You were going to get into houses in a couple episodes.
We're going to get into houses. Yeah, I started doing a lot more. I promised in our last episode that we were exploring our nodes and we were talking about houses, and we're getting a little witchier together. We
are.
So there's that. We're in a retrograde in Capricorn, and then you're free-ish until April 21st through May 14th. We've got a retrograde in Taurus. So this is so
interesting.
It's gonna affect Shaheen more.
A little bit, but it's gonna stop before my birthday, so that's cool.
That is good.
Yeah. And Jupiter's going to be moving into Taurus at that time. I just remember that as a side note.
That's the highlight. We'll end there. Yeah. That's the true highlight. So things will feel really good probably at that time. But when you look at earth signs, we're stability, we're grounded, we're routines and balance. And so, you just might feel a little bit out of whack during these times. Then the next one is August 23rd through September 15th. We will be in retrograde during my birthday, and it is in Virgo. That's gonna be shitty. That's not gonna be great. I'll be 34. Wow, I'm getting up there. I am getting up
raising up your glass.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm officially mid-30s, I think, this year. And then God, what a bummer. We're gonna end the year in another Mercury retrograde. So that'll be okay, but maybe, and obviously we'll remind you, right? We're giving you a lot, but we'll be reminding you kind of as the year continues. We're just trying to map it all out for you so you can kind of get a sense of like the big moves that you want to make. But maybe next year you do the Christmas shopping early, right?
Yeah,
like maybe you do that. It's just like little things. People look for new jobs at the beginning and the end of the year. Like maybe double check that contract. Wait till January 1st of 24 before you jump into something new,
It's also interesting. I feel like Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year, but next year it's going to go 4 times a year.
It's 3 or 4.
Sometimes
it depends on the year, honestly. And
next year's a 4.
Yeah, it just is what it is. It's roll of the dice on that. Okay,
use the energy wisely.
How do we feel about Mercury retrograde?
I like to use Mercury retrograde as an excuse to not be negative about anything. I feel like a lot of people are like, blah, 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 Mercury retrograde is the reason. Actually, I completely lie. I use that as an excuse for like any kind of banter during retrograde time. But I think that it's a time to like just take a step back and think about things you've paused in the past, which is why it's perfect for starting up a podcast again.
It's good to, and again, since 23, they're all in earth signs. Think about your routines, maybe like spruce that up. Look at your daily, right? Because it's going to feel out of whack anyway. So it's they're 3-week periods. Take a look at it, slow down, double check, every email, the texts you send, but also just kind of look at your daily routine and think like, is this it for me? Is this is this what's making me feel aligned and good to kind of take on everything? Because that's a big focus for me, is to remind people to like take care of themselves at all times, right?
Yeah.
But this is a nice moment to like really drill that in.
The world moves so fast. Use retrogrades as a time to pause and reflect.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's move to Venus.
Venus.
What's Venus up to next year?
Rocket number 9, take off to the planet. You know that song?
No.
To the planet Venus.
What is that like from that has to be from a musical, right?
It's Lady Gaga, so yeah, it is the musical of
the musical of her life. Yeah. Yeah.
Call me Stephanie.
Okay, so I do want to note, like, our sources. I did a lot of very comprehensive research for this episode.
I love the research. It's like, I'm going to use this it's going to be my new wall calendar. I'm going to print these out.
Yeah, I did my best with it. Okay, so let's talk about Venus, and we know what Venus rules, but why doesn't the Taurus hit us with it? What does Venus rule, since Venus rules you?
Well, what do you mean? What when I
love,
think of Venus,
beauty, aesthetics,
love, beauty, aesthetics. I thought you were trying to lead into how this is such a Taurus thing to do. I thought you were going to say that like Venus is the ruling planet of Libra and like kind of the fake ruling planet of Taurus.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was alluding to. Is like it is it does rule you kind of half. Yeah,
it's about like aesthetics and beauty and nice things, and that's why Libra, being a more feminine sign, gets all of Venus's energy. It's something I learned in our last compatibility episode about Libra, I think. And Taurus gets a little bit of it. Yeah.
So Venus doesn't always go retrograde. I want to be really clear about that. It's about every 18 months. Of course, right? As we're talking about this, we will get one in 23. We will get one. And we'll just jump straight to that, because that will be July 22nd through September 3rd. And Venus will be retrograde in Leo. So let's, like, all the things we know about Venus, let's break it down so that that's a little bit, like, digestible. So if Venus rules love, beauty, aesthetics in general, it's not a time in retrograde to go get a fucking new haircut, to plan your plastic surgery, to like experiment with Botox and lip fillers for the first time.
Leo is a very beautiful sign that should not be experimenting during retrograde.
Right. And let's
or the people outside of the sign too. Let's
think about, since it's in Leo, like let's think about what we associate with Leo. It's ego, it's big, it's an attention seeking sign.
Presentation, of self.
So you may, in your relationships, you may question your romance. You may examine your relationships with like a different scrutiny, and that may not be true. That may just be the fog of the retrograde and Leo. You may be a little bit needier, or truly seeking an attention that you're not maybe receiving. And so maybe that's a time to like evaluate, with your spouse, to kind of bring it, or your partner, to kind of bring it back. Traditionally during Venus retrogrades, we get a lot of celebrity breakups, and like long lasting ones.
I can't stop thinking about J-Lo right now, because she's been on my mind. She's going to release a new album in 2023. And I'm a little bit nervous. I hope she doesn't get a haircut in July.
And they're both Leos, right? We've talked about Ben and Jen. They're both Leos. It's a little bit concerning, but I think they're going to be okay, right? Because they've been through so much already. But it's a time. Venus retrograde is when we see like kind of long-term things come to a culmination. But if you make it through the retrograde, you usually come out stronger, because you've examined some things together.
Venus retrograde, I just remembered earlier this year, I had poor dating experiences while that happened, without any detail to reveal. But I learned a lot about myself and who was right for me and who was very wrong for me.
Yeah, you're evaluating your relationships. It's a good time for that. So that's
made huge strides since then.
That's Venus. We've only got one retrograde, but it lasts longer. End of July 22nd through September 3rd. God, my birthday's the 5th, so we'll be out of the Venus retrograde, but we'll still be in a Mercury retrograde. And I got to tell you, Leo season next year, it's not going to be a good one. It's not going to feel, it's going to be a little icky, sticky.
Sticky,
because
like
we'll have
humid
Mercury
fire.
and Venus retrograde. Plan a fucking vacation for August. How about that? I'm telling you that in January.
Yeah, do not date anyone new. Don't do anything with anyone
Plan
new.
a vacay, low stakes, and expect low stakes like Mexico or Hawaii. Just easy peasy. And expect delays, probably. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do both. Like, plan, get away.
Expect delays.
But expect delays. That's what we're telling you.
Airports, I don't know about.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, airports, are they very technologically advanced? Not a lot of them are.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm joking to some extent, right? Like, there's a lot of technology that powers a lot of our movements. So expect delays, but yeah, get away. See if you can get away during August is what I'm pulling together at this point. Okay, let's move in to Mars. Let's move into Mars. We're currently in Mars retrograde.
We are, and yes,
as we're recording, we're in Mars retrograde.
Went retrograde a while back,
and we'll still be in retrograde. Yeah. So to give you a quick recap, I mean, the big bullet takeaway, we've told you about the 4 Mercury retrogrades, the 1 Venus retrograde. There will be no Mars retrograde in 2023. So, and most of 24, there will not be one again until the end of 24, which is really, really good news. As I love to say, Mars is, to remind you, how you fuck, how you fight. It's how you show up with like that fiery, it's the red planet. It's the planet of war. So kind of just to recap the end of 22. So Mars went retrograde in Gemini on September 3rd. So that's why it's felt like that. That's why the end of 22 felt like this. And then Mars stations and turns retrograde. So I guess
it went retrograde. It went into
on
the
the
retrograde
30th.
Zone in September 3rd,
Oh,
and then it went
okay.
retrograde.
We don't care about the zones.
The zone is something I find interesting for future reference, but it's like a level 3 astrology thing.
Yeah, it's too much. It's like the
our
shadow.
Fans are like hardly level 1. All of you just
like
hearing our voices.
Yeah, we're like, that's too much information. So actually, it went retrograde on basically Halloween on October 30th, and then it'll station direct in Gemini on January 12th. So it will still be retrograde when we release this. However, or maybe it won't. Maybe we decide to hold it.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Or has been done.
It's done. We want things to progress. Like if things have felt slow in your life, it's
communication-y things too. Mars being in Gemini. I feel like Mars
people are maybe ruder right now.
Geminis have been. I've seen, but they've also been wrong. So there's something about that. It's funny.
To be fair,
don't have the power right now.
The Geminis in your life may have been starting unnecessary drama. They, that actually may be true, and maybe even something for me to reflect on. Truly,
Geminis they're projecting their own insecurities out all over the place because Mars is like on fire, and Gemini's an air sign, and they're outside like leading up through Mercury being retrograde. Geminis just have a lot of energy, planetary energy that is out of control for them.
Yeah Mars and the source on this one is Stylecaster, direct quote from them. Mars in Gemini has no filter. To remain mindful of what you say and how you say it while this retrograde is underway. Steer clear of catty debates that lead nowhere. Essentially, don't fucking waste your breath.
Don't waste your breath.
Is the takeaway.
Don't
until January 12th. But that's why I feel like we have some really positive astrology right kind of at the beginning of the year. But once we move out of Mercury and Mars retrograde, we're going to be in a really nice kind of position.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, let's get into Jupiter. Let's get into the exciting shit. Let's get Jupiter. Where it's lucky and lovely.
I love Jupiter most this year, more than any year in my life.
And why is that?
Well, it's been going through for the last year through Aries, which is my rising sign, and then it moved backwards, and then it moved forward into Aries and through Pisces, which is my moon sign, and then it moved backwards into Aries, which I'm fine with because it's my rising sign, and then it moved forward into Pisces. Now it's going back into Taurus. I think I said that all of that out of order, and I'm not going to be able to cut it in post, but Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and so now it's moving into Taurus, which it's going to go into Taurus by my birthday, but then it will apparently be stationed retrograde through September 4th. And I haven't thought that far in life in the past several years. I've just been focused on 2023, Taurus and Jupiter.
Yeah, I mean, to like quickly summarize that. So Jupiter is in Aries, will be in Aries when you hear this episode. It's stationed direct on the 20th of December. So right before Christmas, it's stationed direct in Aries, and it will stay there and move into Taurus during Taurus season. So May 16th. And then it will be there lighting up. Let's talk about that for a second. So it will be in Taurus, lighting shit up, making that part of our charts, wherever Taurus is in your chart. It will make that area of your life feel luckier, feel more emboldened. And that'll be that way from May through September 4th. I am fucked next year. Like really kind of looking at these dates. I'm like Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, and Venus retrograde all kind of around my birthday. Okay. Yeah. Let's yeah, that's a lot.
Reflection time.
Yeah. So that means like basically the fourth quarter of next year will be retrograde in Taurus. Jupiter will be. So I don't know.
And Taurus is a very like money oriented sign, and it's like a security oriented sign, and that's why I'm excited it's going to be in Taurus for a little bit. But towards the end of the year, we should all kind of like keep our finances in check and our
look at your budgets. Back to order, do the Christmas presents early. I think that's actually Christmas a really good
early next year.
That's a
for
good
sure. In
Christmas
fact,
presents early.
Everyone should just do winter solstice and fall. Whatever your holiday season looks like, do it in fall. Do it early.
Do it at the fall equinox. Just fucking knock it out. Yeah. Make sure that you're budgeting correctly. Maybe we don't even do gifts. Maybe we don't even do gifts. Yeah. Maybe it's like the gift of your fucking presents, right?
Presents
like
is a present. Not quoting Kanye. It's my own thing right now. It's your thing.
We cannot even touch Kanye at this point. And I'm sure what's crazy is that we're recording this on December 1st, and he just said that he loves a lot of things about Hitler. Like that's where we are at December 1st. By the time this
Mars retrograde in Gemini.
Definitely.
He's a Gemini.
Yeah. But by the time this comes out, who even fucking knows, right? Yeah. Where we'll be with Kanye because we can't even, let's not.
I mean, where could we have guessed who we would be a year ago?
God. Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, we've given you a lot. We've thrown a lot at you, but it's just a quick overview. Really, just to say hi again. We're excited to create content, and we're happy to be like back in the flow of things. Just like that, you can see
camera.
If
you were watching this, you would know.
If you vlogged it, everyone's gonna see. We're gonna share. You'll see the magic. You'll want to tune in because it's in our eyes.
I have
magic
cool lighting on.
It's in our voices, but it's in our eyes too. How do we end these? I don't even remember.
Do we have a sign off? It's not something you think about. It's
no. There's no sign off.